Welcome to the final episode of The Leak. Tonight we're talking about all the big issues. We're talking about Matt Damon, old cheese, the wage gap between hosts of community TV and commercial TV. I mean, the wage gap between men and women. Come on.
We've got news from the left, we've got news from the right, we've got news coming out of all the directions.
We're talking One Nation, immigration, superannuation and snail racing.
All that and more on The Leak. Welcome to The Leak. Thank you for joining us for our final episode of Season 2. It's been another massive week of news. To help me get through all of it, I'm joined by Jacqueline Mifsud.
Thank you.
And Anthony McCormack.
So sassy.
Well, let's get stuck into it. Let's take a look at some of the headlines that made news this week. The trailer for the movie Great Wall came out. It's a movie about monsters crossing the Great Wall of China and features known Chinese actor Matt Damon. Sorry, non-Chinese actor Matt Damon. Like the Great Wall itself, the decision to cast Damon instead of a Chinese actor is a great wonder. In fact, actress Constance Wu said that casting Damon perpetuates the racist myth that only white men can save the world.
She has got a point. Look at these. White guy saves the world. Magical white guy saves the world. Small white guy saves the world. And robot white guy saves the world.
But in the defense of the white guys can also destroy the world.
That's it. Well, it seems like the movie's creators tried to anticipate this problem by just calling the movie Great Wall and leaving out the words of China. So that could be any wall. You guys are the ones that are being racist, actually.
At no point did we say which wall. I think it's pretty obvious from the trailer that it's the Great Wall of China.
That is such a silly question. Everyone knows what they were trying to keep out.
And it was to keep the rabbits out. Too many rabbits in China.
I do not think that's accurate, Anthony, but well done. It was built to keep the Mongolians out, but the Mongolians got through anyway.
I think it's offensive that Matt Damon is playing a Chinese person, but possibly more offensive that they got monsters to play the Mongolians.
Very. Yeah, well, it's actually the most offensive portrayal of Mongolians since John Wayne played Genghis Khan, and that did happen. Yes, it happened.
That's the thing. Like, Genghis Khan committed some terrible, terrible crimes, but none as bad as that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this isn't the first time that Americans have disrespected the Great Wall of China. In 2005, US skateboarder Danny Way built a ramp to jump over the wall. And in 1986, David Copperfield performed an illusion where he walked through the wall.
Where is he? There he is.
That's not so impressive. The Mongolians got through it years ago.
That's old news. I'm with Constant Wu. Constantly
wooing.
Yes, in a state of constant wooing I am. So, if we don't stop the whitewashing of movies soon, we might see Matt Damon playing Chinese characters all over the shop, like Mulan, or the panda from Kung Fu Panda. When will he stop?
I think the way the industry is going, China could show America how it feels. Maybe we could see a remake of Lincoln with Jackie Chan.
See, my problem is that could easily be Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, he's very good.
Yeah, he's gone method. I can actually understand why they cast Matt Damon. It makes sense they got an American to defend a wall against threats trying to cross it. I just think the trailer could have been a lot better.
We're going to build a wall. It's not even, believe it or not, it's not even a difficult thing to do. We're going to have borders again. China. I think we need the wall. We're going to build the wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
Please Please, America, please. Brazilian drug lord Harvez Guimaraes Pavio, please don't kill me, has been found living in a secret luxury apartment attached to his prison cell in Paraguay. He's got a flat-screen TV, a conference room, a lounge room, library, and even air conditioning.
Oh, it's like the Batcave. This is great.
Well, both Bruce Wayne and Andy Dufresne, they had help keeping projects secret thanks to Morgan Freeman. I reckon he's the first person I'd check in with. Get busy building a secret luxury apartment or get busy dying.
How did he keep this a secret? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, was there a poster of Raquel Welch over the entrance?
I'm going to have you to ask you to refrain from any more Shawshank references. Michael.
What was he using all that space for? Was he renting it out for like an Airbnb? Is that how he's trying to pay for it? What's going on?
Oh, Michael, he wouldn't do anything like that. That's illegal.
I want to know what he used the conference room for.
My guess is conferences. I don't know.
Ask a silly question.
Well, I guess like he was just meeting there to work out what books to discuss at their next book club. That's what I'll put in that library with every book in the world.
I'll have one of every book in the world. Sure, but it's a secret. He charged people an entry fee of almost $7,000, and then if they wanted to stay, about $800 per week in rent.
It's like it's not even rent controlled.
If you ask me, this system is not working. He's upgraded from drug lord to landlord. This is much worse.
It's an important step to rehabilitation.
So what gave this secret massive bachelor pad away?
Explosives.
Oh, that little thing.
Yeah.
Just that tiny little thing.
See, he was planning to blow a hole in his cell and escape.
Why would he want to escape? He's just got the bachelor pad set up the way he wants it.
He's an idiot. The police have sent him to Brazil to carry out the rest of his sentence, so probably he's going to be somewhere awful.
Like the Olympic Village.
Oh, snap.
Oh.
Well, 340 years ago, Kronen, a Swedish Navy warship, sank in battle with the Dutch-Danish fleet off the coast of Åland. A recent expedition to the shipwreck has salvaged some remarkable treasures, a 17th century diamond ring, gold coins, but the real treasure is a tin preserving what is believed to be the world's oldest cheese.
Wait, they believe it's the oldest.
They believe it's cheese.
I'm pretty sure whatever it was 350 years ago, it is cheese now.
Yeah.
That's how cheese works, isn't it?
I think so. That's my understanding. We're going to see a picture of the cheese now, but just as a thought exercise, when it comes up, I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose.
Don't do it.
Do it with me. Oh yeah. It smells good. Apparently, it was the smell that first alerted researchers that there was something delicious and/or disgusting going on in that tin.
But how far away were they when they smelt it? Like Australia? It's a lot of cheese.
Is it blue cheese?
I think whatever colour it was 350 years ago, it's blue now.
Wait, so Anthony, what are we trying to learn from this?
Well, if the researchers can keep themselves from eating it, this could tell us information about 17th century eating habits. Scientists are keeping the cheese in the fridge. Their first plan is to do DNA tests on the cheese, which is going to tell them what kind of bacteria is in it.
I think I can save them a lot of money in research. All of them. All of the bacteria. Every single one.
I hope when they test the cheese, they get really excited, like in those TV shows like CSI. They're like, all right, spread them.
What episode?
Archaeologists believe that the tin they found the cheese in actually signifies that it's someone's secret cheese stash.
If that was my cheese, I'd probably keep it a secret as well, though.
I feel kind of bad because people in the past are having shipwrecks and leaving us all these little presents and cheeses and food, and I don't think we're having enough wreckages of our own. So what are we going to leave the next generation?
Jack, don't be ridiculous. We've got craft singles. I mean, this stuff is...
In our pocket.
It's not even biodegradable, this stuff.
It's going nowhere.
Craft singles, show sponsor. I have to keep them on my person at all times. Anyway... part of the contract.
Are they kosher? Don't worry.
That's, we're going to go to a break. We'll see you in a moment. Eight and a half. We don't muck around. Where's Andrew? Can Andrew come in? I'd like to chat to Andrew if you can come in for a moment. So just remember, we're going to get rid of the who's on. We're going to get rid of the who's on first. So after that, I'm going to miss these little talks, Anthony, and then Jack can go. So just remember, I'm going to say we're getting rid of that soul bit. After I'm going to miss these little talks, Anthony, and then we'll go back to you.
Choose the one, and now thank you. We started with season 1, and now we're about to move with each other.
Where's Andrew?
And so I wanted to move into Footscray, and she wanted to move into Armidale. So we've compromised, and we're moving into Armidale. And it's good. We're very in love. We feel very optimistic and hopeful for the
Ralph,
future.
can you grab Andrew?
And at that stage where we feel like we can create anything together. And the other night we were lying in bed, we're looking into each other's eyes. We came up with a song on the spot. It goes like this. You. I love you. I love you. That's it. We looked at each other like, oh my God, that's amazing. We just created magic on a
Cool. So we're going to do, it's going to come to Anthony.
So you share it with the people of the league. You realise I'm a bit of a douchebag. We've got 15 seconds to go before we hit. Oh, thanks. You're chopping me out heaps tonight. I was timing that to perfection. We got 15 seconds more on the clock. Okay, what are we going to talk about?
Don't waste it, Joe.
Can we have a talk? Heckled. I got heckled last night, right, by this drunk guy at a gig. And
Alright, we're coming back from break yet.
oh. I'll tell you the story next time. How many?
15 seconds.
We got 15 seconds. So let's make some noise.
Welcome back. There's a growing chorus of disapproval with new changes in the way that our census information is being handled. You might already be up to speed on the issue, but in case you're not, what is a census?
The personal information the census collects from us helps the Australian Bureau of Statistics provide a snapshot of the population. That snapshot tells us where best to spend taxpayer money on education, health, and infrastructure. Though in the past, any information identifying you against your answers was immediately destroyed, the ABS now wants to store and encrypt that information for possibly forever. Good thing we have the power to opt out, or wait, we don't. So why the change? Names and addresses can be matched to other government records, such as death records, meaning the quality of the data will be much more accurate. But even if we can trust this and all future governments, and not all governments do fantastic things with census data, can we trust the ABS to keep our most intimate data safe from hackers for possibly forever?
There was an announcement in December of last year that people's names and addresses would be kept indefinitely. That's already changed. Now we're being told that names and addresses are only going to be kept for 4 years.
Which is kind of like your friend saying, can you give me your car? No? Look, I'm just going to borrow your car. It's fine. Don't be a tight ass.
Also, this past July, statistician David Kalish told Fairfax Media, even though in the past the ABS has had a public commitment to deleting your name data straight away, They've actually been holding on to it and using it for up to 18 months.
It's a lot like the same friend saying, I can't believe you won't let me borrow your car. I drive it all the time and it's fine.
I'm never giving you my car again.
I don't drive.
Wait, so, Anthony, if you don't complete the census, you get fined. But what if you have a good reason, you know, a valid reason for not completing it? How do they know not to fine you?
Oh, because of the data.
But if they have the data, why do they need the data from us?
They don't have the data until you give it to them.
And what if I don't give them the data?
Then you get fined.
How?
Because of the data.
I'm going to miss these little chats, Anthony.
Thank you, John Clark. Let's start again. It's naive to think that all people are still going to fill in all the information accurately if their name and identity will be attached to it forever.
Well, you're going to have to fill it in accurately because if you don't, you're going to get fined.
But how can they tell if you've filled it inaccurately?
They check it against the data.
What data?
Exactly. The census is undeniably a wonderful thing and is absolutely in the public interest. But the case for mandatory data retention has been solved terribly. It hasn't been handled well at all.
Census? They don't even know us.
If the ABS want to get, if the ABS want to get our data, why don't they do it like everyone else? Just go on Facebook and stalk us.
You know, speaking of Facebook, I received a saucy friend request the other day. We have no mutual friends. No mutual friends, but I think she's the one.
I don't want to break it to you, Anthony. We're going to go to a break. We'll see you in a moment.
Beautiful work, beautiful work. Everybody sees. Did you see the Matrix background in the screen before? Did everyone see that? Has everyone seen the Matrix? Yeah. Well, I've got a therapist, right? May or may not come as a surprise to you. But he practices on Glen Harley Road in Caulfield, and he said to me only a few weeks ago, he said, Joe, let me tell you something. You need to understand this. We are in the Matrix. I said, what do you mean? He said, everything, it is the Matrix. When you go outside, look for the signs and there will be proof. And I was walking down Glen Huntley Road and I'm thinking, is it true? Are we in the Matrix? And within 2 minutes of leaving, this guy came across the road and on his jacket, it said, The Matrix. We actually went into the same building together, and we were in the same place. It was like this little theatre in Caulfield. And I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, "Excuse me, sir. Were you in the Matrix?" And he said, "Yes, I was." And I said, "I'm in the Matrix as well." He said, "We all are."
1 minute left.
It turns out this guy was actually in the film, The Matrix. He's a Chinese guy. His name's Anthony Brandon. Well, he's the captain of the ship of In the Matrix. How crazy is that? And he just came in front of me, so I don't know why I'm telling you this. Other than to say this whole thing, it's not even real. This is great. But I may not tell you if I've got a quick 30 seconds. Last night, what I was saying is I did get
30 seconds.
Thank you. You want to let me know? Like, go here. Always. I'm sure I'm not going to have enough time. We got about 15 seconds, and she's like, get off this stage. So, let's have a bit of a crowd out, and welcome back. 15 seconds. Keep it going, you can do it. I know, I believe in you.
Snails. You can eat them, accidentally crush them in your bare feet getting the morning paper, or you can race them. It may not have stopped a nation, but the World Snail Racing Championship was recently held in the UK. More than 200 snails slugged it out for the title to win a silver tankard full of lettuce leaves. Snail racing has been alive and well for almost 25 years. Anyone can participate. Just grab a garden snail, paint its shell and join the fun. The snails are placed on a circular track painted on a moist cloth. They start in the middle, then they race at a snail's pace to the perimeter. The next championships are being held on Saturday the 15th of July in 2017 on a cricket field. Book your flights early, everyone.
Well, that still beats cricket and crickets as well.
Yeah. No, do people actually take this seriously, or is this just like a family fun kind of
No,
deal?
it's huge. They really get into it. Some trainers even give out tips. Check these out.
Best way to train it is on a French window going upwards. So build up stamina and muscle, so when they go on the flat, they go quicker.
You can add weights by supergluing Lego blocks with thread to the shell.
Why the thread?
With the stakes that high, are there any scandals? Like, are you seeing snail pellets out on the field? Are you seeing salt in the locker room? Are you seeing drugs? Are you seeing lubricants? What do you?
I think.
Please stop, Anthony.
And also, Ralph, please stop. See, not that I know of. There's not much they're going at. The sad thing that happened was that George, last year's winner, was unable to defend his title because he died a day before the race. Sad.
And
you're in our thoughts, George.
And probably in the belly of a Frenchman, actually.
Was it at least a slow death?
Anthony, please have some respect. George has just died, okay? His body is still cold and very slimy, probably, too.
A hero has fallen, Anthony.
Yeah, no, George was probably a very great gastropod.
Bless you.
I'm glad you did your research, Anthony.
I did.
So who won this year?
Herbie, too. He covered the course in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Here is a photo of him and his proud trainer with their glorious lettuce trophy.
Oh, watch out, Olympics. This is going to get exciting.
But people really got into it, and they got really creative with the painting of the shells. Look.
Oh, it's like a shark attacking a slug. It's fantastic. Hey,
yes.
Is a slug just like a homeless snail?
Good question. I think so.
Fascinating.
Well done, Anthony.
See, some snails are actually lucky enough and good enough to get in layman's terms, sponsorship.
Muzzle toss.
Yeah.
Wait, can we just get that out? What was that? Can I just say, I always suspected those burgers were not 100% beef. I always suspected.
Is that tofu? Maybe. No. It's snails.
You know, it used to be about the snail racing. Now it's all about money.
Well,
terrible.
What would you have to do as a snail to lose your sponsorship? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. Would you have to go too slow or not slow enough?
I think you'd have to get up to some pretty messy kind of Tiger Woods antics, if you know what I mean. Not even hiding it.
Well, now I'd like to talk about superannuation. Is a sentence nobody has ever said. But superannuation is important. It's actually the only way to compare pairs.
Compare the pair. Compare the pair. Compare the pair.
I miss those ads. Nowadays, ads only compare meerkats with Russian accents. It's very strange. Superannuation is complicated, but this government ad from 1992 puts it simply.
From July 1, your employer will have to plant money into superannuation on your behalf. Over the years,
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Betty. These contributions will grow.
The Superannuation Guarantee Scheme was introduced in 1992 by the Keating Labor government.
I like that ad because it explains super and shows how even back then the government hated the environment. Why are you cutting out a money tree? We could have had a surplus years ago. Oh, and as a general rule, if someone brings a chainsaw to their final day of work, run, Betty, Bob's lost it. But not everyone retires with super. A Senate report earlier this year revealed that 1 in 3 women retire with no super at all. Meatloaf, what do you think of that?
Now don't be sad. Too hard to breathe, baby.
Don't listen to Meatloaf. He's ruined 1 out of 1 grand finals. The Senate report also showed the superannuation gap between men and women when they retire is 46.6%. The average man retires with about $197,000 in super, whereas women retire with more like $105,000. The last gap to be that horrible to women was the thigh gap. But unlike the thigh gap, the superannuation gap hasn't been created with Photoshop and also won't displace your vagina. But now, before I continue, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Michael, why are you talking about this issue when there is a far more qualified person at the desk? Well, Anthony was very busy researching the census, so it's up to me. According to the Workplace Gender Equality Agency, one cause of the super gap is having children because women are forced to dumb down their careers when they return to work. That means over a few months, a woman can go from the operating room to the delivery room to cleaning a patient's bathroom. Oh, I used to unblock his arteries, and now I'm unblocking his toilets and cleaning that glass ceiling. Tomorrow, I'm bringing a chainsaw. You better run, Bob. Betty's lost it now. Now, look, yes, sometimes men dumb down their careers too. Tony Abbott went from being Prime Minister to opening a Just Cuts at Warringah Mall, but as the Minister for Women, he was just finding out what it's like to be a woman. The main cause of the super gap is, of course, the wage gap, which is at a record high of 18.8%. Globally, we have the 11th biggest wage gap of any country. And with the Olympics about to begin, it might be a while before we see Australia ahead of the US again. So let's get used to it. Oh, can you hear that? Yep. That's the sound of men's rights activists writing angry blogs about how the wage gap is a myth and that the new Ghostbusters has ruined their childhoods. Yes, when you adjust for hours worked, education level and experience, the wage gap is lower, but that fails to address the deeper cultural problem that causes women to work less hours, have lower education levels and less experience. And this cultural problem begins in childhood. A pocket money survey of Australian kids showed that girls got $10.60 per week, while boys got $11.80. Jennifer, we're just trying to prepare you for the real world, okay? We love your brother $1.20 more. That's just it. Now, go be a good girl and work on your thigh gap, Jennifer. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jennifer, I was a cardiologist before I had you. Sadly, this cultural problem of women's work being undervalued is reflected in Parliament. Following the election, female representation in the coalition party room has fallen to its lowest level since 1993. Now, sure, in many ways, 1993 was better than today. Jean-Claude Van Damme, still making movies. Steven Seagal, still making movies. Mel Gibson, still making movies. Still racist, but still making movies. And back then, if you saw a bunch of people wearing colourful masks, they weren't trying to reclaim Australia. They were just Power Rangers. I mean, it was a simpler time. It was a morphin time. But sadly, some Power Rangers fans. Sadly, we have reverted back to 1993 levels of female representation with only 13 women in the House of Reps compared to 63 men, proving that the sausage fest didn't end on election day. In other words, think about this, only 17% of politicians in the House of Reps are female. That's the same amount of female representation as The Footy Show, a show that parades its one female co-host of the Senate promotional shoots to distract from its obvious misogyny. I mean, what kind of show would do that? It's outrageous. You couldn't get away with it. It just would never happen. Globally, Australia now ranks 54th for representation of women in Parliament. That's so far down the rankings that even Afghanistan has a higher representation of women. Only a few years ago, Afghanistan was under the control of a patriarchal, male-dominated government. But I guess we were too, so if Afghanistan can do it, so can we. Look, getting more women into Parliament is critical. Women make government more representative of the population, they boost the economy, and they're 18.8% cheaper. It's a win-win. So, what's being done to balance Parliament? Well, Labor has promised to get more women into Parliament, and with their track record, who wouldn't want to be a female Labor politician? In fact, here is Bill Shorten outlining Labor's plan with no detail at all.
The Labor Party that I'm in, we've proposed that 50% of our MPs will be women by 2025. The truth of the matter is that half of our society is easily half of the ability and merit of this country. So that's why we're doing the leadership stuff.
Leadership stuff! That is the kind of detail we need in our policies. I mean, what does that mean? Will he put forward more female candidates in winnable seats? Will he slip estrogen into Chris Bowen's coffee? Will he follow Tanya Plibersek around with a mirror? Will he force Anthony Albanese to wear a wig and start calling him Annie? Look, sure, all of these ideas are in Labor's 100 positive policies, along with cloning Penny Wong, but still the details are quite sketchy. Meanwhile, Malcolm Turnbull has tried to address the wage gap by bringing legislation that requires government boards to be made up of at least 40% men and at least 40% women. Presumably 20% of government boards can be mashed potato and still comply with the law. These board members are delicious. But other than that, Turnbull hasn't done much except tell people he is a feminist.
I would describe myself as a feminist. I'm a great, as I often say, women hold up half the sky.
And to comply with the law, the other half is held up by a combination of men and mashed potato. The point is, we need to address the cultural causes for the wage gap, and part of the solution is real, thought-out policies to get more women into Parliament, because if we don't do it soon, that super gap is going to get worse, and we might start seeing ads like this.
Compare the pair. Same age, same job, same working hours. Yet there could be a lifetime of difference in their final retirement payout. He is a man. She is not a man. He retires with more super. She retires with less. The comparisons show projected outcomes applying today's average wage gap. Cultural shifts like leadership stuff and more mashed potato on government boards may occur in the future, and this would alter the outcome.
Well, we are very excited now to be joined by a newly elected Senator, Malcolm Roberts, from Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party. He joins us now via Skype, live from Queensland. Malcolm, are you there?
Yes, I am. Is that Anderson?
Oh, this is Michael, but close enough. We're on the show live right now. Thanks so much for joining us, Malcolm.
You're welcome, Michael.
Now, Malcolm, first of all, congratulations on to you and to the whole party as well for winning 4 seats in the Senate. Is that something that you guys expected?
Well, we expected quite a few seats, actually, and after the initial results, we were expecting anywhere from 3 to 7. And we just missed out on Tassie by 41 votes or something like that, so that was almost 5, and Victoria was close, South Australia close, so we almost got the 7.
Well, Malcolm, can you please tell us a bit more about what are the policies that you in particular will be trying to push now that you're in the Senate?
Well, the number one thing, I've got 3 main priorities. The number one, Michael, is to ensure accountability, because I can't trust the Parliament. I haven't been able to trust the government from either party for quite a few years now. And we're going to be asking questions to understand the budget details, because the assumptions, Michael, have been proven completely wrong for a number of years now. And every year we seem to see the budget balancing move further out into the future. So with flawed assumptions, that's never going to come. The other thing that's part of the accountability is the tax system.
Well, Malcolm, we also wanted to ask you about, I mean, in the media today, there have been a lot of people reporting about comments you made about how you want to investigate the CSIRO and the Bureau of Meteorology. Now, is that because they keep getting the weather wrong? Because they said 16 today, and it was like maybe 15, I'd say, maximum. So what are you going to... But on a serious note, I mean, you want to investigate these people to see if there is climate change corruption. Is that correct?
That's correct, because, Michael, it's quite clear from the empirical evidence, and you know, we set all jokes aside, but science has been decided always by empirical evidence, hard, measured data, observed data. And there is no such evidence showing that our production of carbon dioxide affects global climate in any way. And the empirical evidence, in fact, shows that there's nothing unusual happening in temperature. There's nothing unusual happening in any climate indicator. The carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere, mate, they're actually a result of temperature changes, not a cause. And the third thing is that the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is not within our control. We cannot affect that because the oceans determine that level.
We'll ask the oceans.
Yeah, that'd be great. Ask the mermaids. Let me know if you find any mermaids there.
Oh, I certainly will, Malcolm.
Well, speaking of mermaids, Malcolm, I mean, of all the senators, you know, One Nation gets a pretty bad rap in the media, and you must wake up to newspapers, you know, on your desk calling you crazy and this and that, and Pauline Hanson has been through that for years and years and years. Has she given you any advice on... I mean, being a senator is hard enough without also all this, you know...
Well, Pauline has demonstrated 3 things, really, amongst many others. One is to always be honest, and she is. I mean, her level of integrity is phenomenal. The second thing is be courageous, and she's demonstrated courage for 20 years. And the third thing is to be persistent. And, you know, it doesn't bother me at all to wake up in the morning and see newspaper headlines as calling me wacky or whatever. It doesn't bother me to see that on TV. It doesn't bother me to see the media taking comments I've made out of context. We can see what they're doing, but, you know, the people in the street, the people around Australia, they voted for us. More than 500,000 Australians voted for us. We've got 4 senators, more than Nick Xenophon. and we're a force to be reckoned with. So because we listen and because we speak, and if I speak the truth, which I do, and people in the media don't like it, well, that's too bad. It doesn't worry me.
Well, Malcolm, one issue that's been a big for your campaign is free speech. Do you think do you think that there are too many limits on free speech in Australia right now when people express views that contradict with perhaps what mainstream people are thinking?
Yes, and even the labelling of something as a mainstream opinion, it just throws people off. And there's no such thing as a mainstream opinion. For example, in climate science, we've got a mainstream opinion, supposedly, but it contradicts the data because it's been fabricated by propaganda, basically. Now,
scientists?
Well, have you ever seen any empirical evidence proving human cause?
There's a lot out there.
I leave that to the 97%
Have you ever
scientists.
seen it?
I personally haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
No.
There's no such evidence. I've investigated it. And let me tell you, I don't know the lady's name there.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline,
Hi,
we've been told repeatedly that 97% of scientists are in favour of that humans affect global climate. When you look at the figure, and it's broken down in a peer-reviewed paper that was released a few years ago, that 97% vanishes to 0.3%. So it's not a consensus, it's a smattering. And of those 0.3%, not one has ever provided any empirical evidence that we're affecting climate. It's been a complete snow job. So the majority of scientists are actually sceptical. They don't believe this stuff. But it's been painted that there's a majority of scientists. And because, we come back to Michael's comment about free speech, because it has been painted as a major environmental issue, people, including scientists, are scared to speak out against it.
Well, Malcolm, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's really great to hear your thoughts. Please thank Malcolm Roberts for taking his time out to join us tonight.
You're welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Mike. Best of luck with the Senate, Malcolm. We'll go to a break. We'll see you in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, Malcolm Roberts, One Nation, sure you're all fans. Hard act to follow, but just... guys, I don't know if you... does anyone want any snakes after Malcolm? See, the thing about Malcolm Roberts that I think we're able to look, we know how it's talking about the Matrix, yeah? And I think we've already established we are living in the Matrix. And if we are living in the Matrix, as we are, that means global warming is just...
Oh, yeah, we're pretty nice.
It's made up by the Matrix.
Oh, the difference here, man.
I could tell a joke now, but I feel like you're in the mood for a little bit of a poem. How long do we have? We've got about a minute. Time seems to have been a theme for me tonight, so I'm going to do a poem about time. It goes like this. It goes, last time, shit, I thought I was on time. This time I realized that time is on me. Trying to limit the wingspan of my inner man, but can't. If only I could pierce time. Leaving and licking liquids of longevity in a timeline, cutting it with claws extracted from my pole. Or pause because in these questions unanswered, leaving you frozen and ignorant. If I could ever separate pit from past, blindfolded by my watch, so that you may never see 12 a.m. again. Trapping us in an eternal day, cuckold in the fields of time. We're going to have time to finish this, so let's give it up.
Well, here are the week, we're very conscious of maintaining a proper political balance. So tonight, we're representing the news from both the left and the right.
It's all the news that's fit to print. For the right, I'm Anthony McCormack.
And the left, I'm Jacqueline Mifsud. The new Turnbull government seems set to continue, the last one did, as far-right power brokers have forced a weakened Malcolm Turnbull to refuse the nomination of Kevin Rudd in the position of UN Secretary-General. Former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, who competently steered Australia through the global financial crisis, revealed the hypocritical Turnbull had privately given him his full support. Anthony.
Thank you, Jacqueline. And this week, a refreshing deference to common sense from the leftist Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull. Finally convinced by more sensible members of his cabinet, Turnbull ended disgraced former PM Kevin Rudd's farcical bid for the UN Secretary-General. In refusing the nomination, Mr Turnbull mercifully spares our nation from the international embarrassment of a UN Secretary-General that swings wildly between Rudd, Gillard and then Rudd again. And in children's cartoon news, a recent episode of Fireman Sam has been pulled from British television.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Pulled from British television after the PC police discovered a scene in which a character trips over a page from the Quran. The silent majority across the motherland have quietly acknowledged the program's bold move in condemning Islamic extremism, something their government, the lamestream media, and Thomas the Tank Engine have failed to do.
Lamestream. Good burn. And in the latest example of shocking Islamophobia, children's program Fireman Sam has been found to include a scene in which one white, middle-class male character tramples over a page of the Quran, crushing it with his foot. The show's production company have said they've been cancelling their contract with the animation studio behind the scenes and had offered no word on why there can't be a firewoman Samantha. To climate change news now. 13 people have been infected by anthrax in Siberia. A great band name. Where global warming... I'm not wrong. Where global warming has reactivated long-dormant bacteria in the country's permafrost.
To weather. 13 people have been infected with anthrax in Siberia. Terrible band name. As long-dormant bacteria in the country's permafrost have decided to wake up now for no clear reason. I tell you what, if nothing major happens, Jacqueline, in Australian politics between now and December, then the terrestrial broadcast signal of community television is going to be switched off. That means that the channel that you're watching right now, you won't be able to watch on TV. You'll have to watch it on the website or on a brand new app that's available for download right now.
But I put this to you, Anthony. What's the main difference? Like, what can we say? What can't we say on? What can we say on this sort of broadcast rather than the commercial ones? What's the difference?
Oh, sweet, naive Jacqueline. I'm glad you asked.
Here we go.
We can discuss, though it may disgust, a healthy thing like female ejaculation.
Excuse me.
Private health, religious views, and our thoughts on masturbation. Like a child running wild. There's no need for constant supervision.
Smelling super classy out the front of KFC. Sure, it fills you up, but I don't think it is healthy. Out the back, it smells and feels like dank reality. I can only say that on community TV. They want me and admire all those ads, they scream and shout. Whenever I go in there, no, there ain't no stuff about. Sometimes watching Big Bang, there's an ad for fancy wheels. But who that's watching Big Bang can afford automobiles?
They ask me, is it Pepsi or is Coke the secret of my prowess?
Michael, you tit, both are shit. Have some water.
ABC and a big ass government, but the government today don't like them. If they could, they'd totally fund them. If you're under 45, the jobs are seldom. I hope they don't stop broadcasting our shows.
They're singing the blues on commercial TV. They miss the freedom that they had on Community. They're towing company lines, they're selling Nutri-Grinds. Thank God for our community. And if you think this song was savage now, you should have seen it before we cut it down for YouTube.
I'm back, go!
I'll tell you a little story while we have a little bit of time. Instead we'd talk about before I was going out with my girlfriend, my mum came and stayed with me, right? And she said, sweetheart, I want to be a grandmother one day. And I'm worried, are you even having sex tonight? I said, no, Mum, not at this moment. I said, are you even masturbating right now? I said, no, Mum, not right now. Be a very different conversation if I was. She stayed with me for 2 weeks. Shortly after that, she left the room, and I had a few spare minutes, so I got the job done. I cleaned up the mess with a nearby sock, right? And my mum came back in the room, and the light bulb went out. We got one more. We're going to get there. The light bulb went out, and she tried to change the light bulb, but it was too hot. So she needed a cloth, a towel, anything to protect her. Oh, don't worry. There was a nearby sock close at hand. And she put her hand inside the sock. And we never spoke about sex. So, if you're in the mood for a snake, I got some snakes here. Tell me what you want right now. What's a snake time? How much time? 20 seconds. We got 20 seconds. Alright, let's have a bit of pitter-patter. Welcome back to the stage.
Welcome back. Well, concern over immigration in Australia has risen, and recently we've seen a spike in foreign aliens entering Australia. They're crossing our border and flooding the nation. They're in our schools, they're in our parks, there may be some hiding in this very studio. We're joined tonight at the desk by one of them. Thanks for joining us, Mr.
Pikachu. Just Pikachu.
Wow. Thanks for joining us, Pikachu. It's great to have you. I mean, Pikachu, what do you say to the many concerned Australians that you are just the modern-day yellow peril? What do you say to that?
Well, look, I understand their concerns, but I am a genuine refugee. I mean, if I go back to Japan, people are always trying to capture me. Old mate Squirtle got detained the other day, and he's been a shell of his former self.
All right. We'll make the jokes. It's fine, Pikachu. Have you been able to find work? Are you, like, on welfare? How's everything going for you, Pikachu?
Well, I mean, at first, admittedly, it was pretty hard to find myself some work, but luckily that new app's come out, and that's been great for me. You've probably heard of it, Uber. Driving around, making new friends, meeting new people. I drive a Prius, so I just plug myself in.
And I noticed you speak English pretty well, Pikachu.
Oh, mate, I'm not illiterate.
Michael.
But I must say, picking up the lingo has been pretty hard. Like, people speak very differently over here than they do back home. Like, I noticed you guys say mate, whereas back home we say Pikachu. You guys say struth, whereas we say Pikachu. And you guys say fair dinkum, whereas back home we say Pikachu.
Well, Pikachu, we know it's hard for migrants moving to the country. What's been your biggest challenge?
Mate, AFL football. It doesn't make any sense to me. I remember when I first got here and I got told there'd be a match between the Power and the Demons, I thought, sweet, you guys got pokey battles here too. Then I get there, just some blokes kicking a ball around. And there wasn't even any monsters inside it.
Have you chosen a football team?
I have indeed. Well, when I first got here, everyone was saying, pick a bloody team, mate. I go for Richmond, the old yellow and black, and I have found a few similarities between Pokemon and football players. For instance, you guys train them up to make them compete, except you don't keep your footballers detained in a ball.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Pikachu. It's just that for security reasons, Australians sometimes detain people from getting in the country. Sorry.
Well, look, I understand the concerns. I am a realist, and you have to stop. Some of the more extreme Pokemon getting through. But you know, as I say, you're not going to catch them all.
Well, these are all the different types of Pokemons. So we're seeing so there's fire, water, electric, grass, ice, dark, steel, fairy, so on and so forth. Are you saying that we shouldn't let in the dark ones? Because my friend Sonia was saying to me the other day, there are no dark ones in Japan, and Japan is much safer.
Well, I certainly don't think we should let in the ice ones. You Australians got enough problems with that as it is. And I must say, fairy is very derogatory, and they won't be coming over here while they still can't get married.
That's I'm really sorry to hear that, Pikachu. I mean, look, Pikachu, I guess the last thing that we want to ask you is, what do you think of Australia?
Well, Australians like Pokemon. You know, you've got your different kinds. You've got your normal, nice, kind, compassionate, and then you've got your bogan, your racist, your xenophobic, and your Islamophobic. Though most of those last ones are just Pauline Hanson. Well,
earlier.
Yeah, who kind of does look like a Pokemon if you ask me. Except unlike Pokemon, she can't evolve.
Jeez, well, I'm glad you weren't here for the Malcolm Roberts interview earlier, Pikachu. That would have been interesting. But please, put your hands together for Pikachu for joining us tonight.
Well, as the league is wrapping up for another season, we decided to move on and try other things. So earlier in the week, I hosted a very prestigious awards ceremony. Please enjoy and keep me in mind for your next function or event. Ladies and gentlemen, and that guy, welcome to the first annual Jacqueline Awards. Please welcome your host, the dazzling, the illustrious, the gassy, Jacqueline Mifsud. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I had acute appendicitis when I was 6, so it's great to be anywhere. Now I just have a cute scar. Seriously though, I almost died. It's an absolute honour to be hosting the first annual Jacqueline Awards. I love giving back. People have given me so much over the years, like eating disorders, an inferiority complex, and lifetime membership into the exclusive Pen 15 Club. The Fadge Awards are given to categories that are overlooked by other awards ceremonies because they are either too risque or too shit. The Fadges are weird, wacky, inappropriate, and make little sense.
just like me. All right, let's get stuck into our first fad, shall we? The first award of the night is for the weirdest thing you can buy in a jar on eBay. And the nominees are, from North Hollywood in the US of A, a real live dog testicle in a jar preserved in formaldehyde. From Henley Beach in South Australia, an alien fetus in a specimen jar that glows in UV light. And from Frankston, Victoria, where Anthony lives, a vintage fart in a bottle, a diabolical and different gift. And the winner is Anthony's fart in a bottle. Unfortunately, Anthony couldn't be here due to a gas leak in his house, so I'm going to accept this award on his behalf. Well done. Sorry. This award is for films that have upset misogynists the most. And the nominees are A League of Their Own, Women Take Over the Sport of Men's Baseball, Ghostbusters, Women Take Over the Sport of Men's Ghostbusting, The Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants, Women Take Over Men's Clothing. And the winner is The Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants. Misogynists hated this feel-good movie for making them feel, involving girls wearing an article of clothing designed for men and for travelling unaccompanied. Now, unfortunately, the Sisterhood couldn't be here due to a wardrobe malfunction, so I'll accept this award on their behalf. Thanks, girls. This award is for the biggest dick moment of 2016, and the nominees are Steve Price for telling Van that she's being hysterical on Q&A, Donald Trump explaining that he's going to build a wall around Mexico and then get them to pay for it, and Roberto Esquivel Cabrera weighing his 19-inch dick. Okay, and the winner is Donald Trump. Unfortunately, Trump couldn't be here because he's eating the hearts of children and shooting them back into their own mouths. So, I'll accept the award on his behalf. Thanks, dickhead. And the next fad for the night is the best TV show ever in the history of anything forever times infinity. And the nominees are The Golden Girls. 4 elderly women living together in a glorified makeshift shed who have a lot of sex and discuss it. Sex Box, a show where couples have sex in a glorified makeshift shed and discuss it afterwards. The Leak, a community television program filled in a glorified makeshift shed where 3 hosts discuss a lot of things and then have sex afterwards. Okay. And the fadge goes to, oh my God, The Leak! And accepting this award will be Michael Sorry, just a moment. I'm not sure why his name has come up. I'm right here. This is my thing. It's my fadge. It's my fadge, my choice. I just think it's going to make a lot more sense if I were to accept the award. You're joking, right? No? Okay, this is bullshit. I've orchestrated this whole bloody thing, and you're telling me that he gets credit for it? I'm just as good as him, and I'm 18.8% cheaper. This is absolutely
There you go, Michael.
Thank you. I'm so excited to receive the fadge.
It's an honour.
Take that, Waleed, you dickhead. Anyway, I want to say thanks to everyone who has supported the show this season. Particular thanks to the crew. Thanks to the writers and Pauline Hanson, who was our best writer for the show. We really couldn't have done it without her in particular. But please put your hands together for Jacqueline Mifsud. And Anthony McCormack as well. I guess we're going to all have sex now, so wasn't told that in advance. But anyway, I'm Michael Schaefer. You guys have been great. We'll see you next season.